Hello, I'm Joseph Coelho, children's author and poet and the current Waterstones Children's Laureate, and I'm here with the multi-award winning author and playwright Manjeet Mann.
Hello, I'm Manjeet Mann and I'm an author of YA novels and plays.
So Manjeet, today we're going to talk about Run Rebel, your multi-award winning novel, verse novel, and its adaptation to stage. Could you tell us a bit about the story of Run Rebel?
Run Rebel is about a teenage girl called Amber, and Amber is desperate to live her own life on her own terms. However, her home life is far from perfect, and the novel explores the conflict of cultures between her challenging and at times abusive family life at home and her school life, which is full of friendships and teen crushes and a passion for athletics. And throughout the novel, Amber has to learn to navigate these two opposing cultures and develop the strength to grow and build her own identity in the face of all these major obstacles.
And you're in the process of adapting it with pilot theatre into a stage production.
Yep.
How has that been, going from page to stage?
Yeah, it's been going really well. A really great learning curve as well. I've written plays before. I naively thought that this was going to be easier because I sort of thought, it's my book. I've written it. It's just about putting it onto the page, right? Not as simple as that. It being on stage is a totally different form, obviously, and what drives the book doesn't necessarily drive the play, won't necessarily drive a story on stage for 2 and a bit hours. But luckily, it's not just up to me. It's a hugely collaborative process. So I've worked very closely with Tessa, who's the director, but also the dramaturg as well, which means that she helps edit the story and sort of picking out the bits from the book that would work on stage and helping me find my way through that. The play as a whole, it's not a traditional play, which is like really exciting. It's lots of very short scenes. It's very fast moving, very fast paced, mixed in with lots of spoken word.
Which feels very fitting given that it's come from a verse novel. What do you feel you want audiences and young audiences in particular to take away from this new stage adaptation of the book?
I would love for those who really resonate with the story to feel seen and to feel heard. I would love for those who perhaps sort of watch the play and sort of think, oh, this isn't my story. I haven't grown up in that environment, or those things haven't happened to me. But therefore, I hope that it helps build empathy then, and it helps build empathy and understanding around subjects and people and places that perhaps aren't your world. I hope it just sort of ignites something within them, and I hope they look at Amber and sort of think, Amber and her sister and her mum, 3 great characters, driving force in the story, and I hope they sort of sit there and think, oh, okay, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it.
So now that you're working with this brilliant team at Pilot Theatre, collaborating to put Run Rebel on stage, what are you most looking forward to seeing realised, to viewing, to hearing once it's a finished theatrical piece?
Oh, all of it, so much. We just have the most beautiful music score. We have 2 fantastic movement directors. The actors are all on stage throughout the entire performance. So like I say, it's not a traditional performance where you're going to have actors going on and off backstage and then coming on doing their parts. It's not that at all. We have an amazing designer who's created something that is just so abstract. And the lighting and the sound, obviously, and all of those aspects coming together. I mean, you can't have one without the other. A performance is made with all of these people. So in terms of saying, I'm looking forward to one thing the most, I just can't. It's all of it coming together is going to be so magical. So grateful to be working with the most amazing group of people, and I just really hope that everybody enjoys what they see.
That sounds brilliant, and I for one can't wait to see it. So it's opening night for Run Rebel. Can you tell us what an audience is going to see? What a young person sitting in that audience, what experience are they going to have?
They are going to witness a young teenage girl really fighting against the odds and fighting for the life that she wants to live. Somebody who comes from a very difficult home life. And she's not always likeable as well, so that's going to be interesting to see how you feel, how you feel about her. But hopefully you can empathise with where she's coming from. But not only does she fight for the life that she wants to live, she really takes her mother and her sister with her. So together, all 3 of them really turn their lives around, and it's something quite extraordinary. So hopefully that's, a story and a character that everybody can get behind.
I think that sounds really exciting. I think one thing you do so brilliantly in your writing is to not shy away from the big themes and to really write honestly about characters and people, and what you're saying about Amber not always being a likable character. I think especially young audiences really appreciate that, like seeing that complexity of individuals and characters, because we're all human, and that's something you can actually totally relate to. Which leads me to another question about your passion for writing for this age range. Like, why are you passionate about writing for this age range, and why is it important to tell stories to the teen audiences?
So my teenage self didn't really have a voice like Amber, felt very kind of like downtrodden, didn't really feel like I could ever express myself. I had such huge dreams and I just didn't know, I never believed that they would come true. Certainly didn't feel like I had anybody in my corner. Now, as an adult, I finally feel like I have my voice, and I sort of look within, and that teenage version of myself has so many stories that she wants to tell, has so many things that she wants to say. So I really feel like I'm just kind of like bringing up little me and like allowing her to tell her stories now. That's why I want to write for teenagers. Again, it's almost like to appease my teenage self. It's when you're a teenager where the brain is just so adaptable and you're really figuring out who you are and what you think and what you want to be, and it's almost like as we get older we get very stuck in how we think and feel about things. So if you want to change the world and you want to change how people think, getting them when they're teenagers is like a really good time.
Well, they are formative years, aren't they? Like, definitely feel that, like in my own writing, that I feel like I mine my past and think back to when I was a teenager and what was important then, and so I feel like it's a very rewarding group to write for, because really we're writing for a time that is very important to all of us adults.
Yeah,
as well,
definitely.
yeah. And is there any kind of parting words of wisdom for those that are interested in writing, interested in writing plays, who want to have a career in writing and in the arts? Any advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I mean, any budding writers out there, I mean, I always sort of feel like my main bits of advice are set yourself a goal, commit to that goal, and then it's all about the discipline, basically. So you have a goal, you want to write. What do you want to write? Do you want to write a play? Do you want to write a screenplay? Do you want to write a book? Write that goal down, so at least then you know what your end point is. Set a time aside in your day or in your week, whenever you have the time. You might not have the luxury of every day, but do you have 1 hour a week? And I think everybody does have 1 hour a week. So Sunday morning, 10 till 11, you're going to sit down at your desk and you're going to write whatever it is that you want to write, whatever your end goal was. And then, so commit to that. And then it's basically the discipline of turning up that once a week for that 1 hour and writing. And you might not think that sounds like a lot, and what's the point, what you're going to do in an hour, but in 52 weeks time you will have a finished screenplay or a finished play script or a finished book. So it's all about set your goal, commit to that goal, and then have discipline. Without those three things, nothing's ever going to start, and therefore if you never start, you're never going to finish.
Oof. And on that point, I think we should end there, but thank you so much, Manjeet Mann, author and playwright of Run Rebel.